They know me as me, right? For them to say, go to work, Riley, if that is part of the conversation, if that's the way the conversation goes, it's over. There's no turning around. Welcome back to Muse on the Mic. I'm Riley.
And I'm Emily. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us on another fabulous episode here at Muse on the Mic. We're so glad you're back. Love all our regulars. Hello and welcome to everybody new as well. We love our newbies too. Join the fam, right? A quick intro. We are the owners of Muse Massage Spa. It is a body rub parlor in Toronto, Canada. And that means it's a happy ending massage place, erotic massage, exotic massage, all the naughty, saucy things in between. And a lot more happens than just massage. Catch all of our episodes to learn about what it's about because we talk about it a lot. But we're here on the mic talking about everything about massage parlors, about sex work, about sex and relationships, about men, about women, and everything in between. So it gets naughty, it gets saucy. Head over to Patreon for the real naughty stuff. Subscribe over there for $9 a month, and you get an extra episode every week and some fun on Sunday nights because why not? Riley, let everyone know what juicy topic we're getting into today.
We are going to jump into Twitter again. This is a post that comes from L. Stanger, and it's asking the question. I mean, a lot of sex workers are in relationships, whether they're married or boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever their dynamics are. But when is sex work used as a weapon against you? Does that happen in relationships? Even the most supportive relationships often can lead in that direction. And we've both experienced that over time as well. It's a common topic, I think.
It is. This would be so personally relatable to sex workers watching. But I think a lot of our audience is male, and I think it's important for them to know that there are rules and guidelines on how to date a sex worker successfully, and that includes how not to. And this is a big red flag. And unfortunately, it's usually not a red flag that comes up at the beginning. It's when you're well into the thick of a relationship or well into the thick of a breakup and every uncomfortable, awkward moment in between those two phases. And it can just get a little dicey. So let me read the tweet first, and then we'll dive into all the personal stories because it's not only Riley and I. We have heard this from other workers, from our own staff, and a bunch of agreeing sex workers on Twitter too. So let me dive in. Okay. She says, if you're an entertainer and dating someone who says, quote, I don't like the work, but I can respect it, end quote. No, 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 in capital letters. This is a phrase repeated so many times by someone who hates your job and will throw it at you in an argument in your face. Let me know if I'm wrong. And then, of course, there's a whole bunch of replies, a good 64 replies from sex workers, all telling their tale of when this has happened to them. And like Riley said, it's happened to both of us as well. And I say that.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm just like,
I know. Well, in defense to the guys, I'll give you a little bit of defense here. I think it's a very different situation when you're entering a relationship with someone and they're upfront about what they do for work and you think, okay, I can handle this. And maybe you lead with the best of intentions. Love comes later. And once that love happens, I think they are entitled to change the way they feel. It might feel very different when this is a woman you're in love with versus dating, but it's the weaponizing part that I disagree with the most when you throw it at her in a negative way.
100%. And that's, I think, with the point where she says they will throw it in your face in an argument. Yeah. Because listen, if people fight dirty, they throw all kinds of things in your face in an argument, right? Which we all know better. That's not how you're supposed to have a healthy disagreement because it doesn't lead to healthy resolution. The problem with behaving like that in an argument is often people will say things that they can't take back. And it's one thing to be like, I hate your mother. Like, why does she always have to be here? But it's another thing to be like, I hate you, or I hate this part of you, or I hate something about you, or I hate your work. Like, whether she's using the job as a career or whether she's in the job as a financial crutch, or whether it's a means to an end with a big, exciting goal, like no matter the tone of it, it's very bizarre to use someone's work as a weapon against them,
Hmm.
especially if you're trying to establish some sort of co-equal balance or some kind of compromise or something that requires meeting in the middle. Because how is that accomplished when you're berating someone and
Hmm.
using something to harm them, right? I don't really like those kind of arguments because one person's going to come out the winner and one person comes out the loser. And maybe this is an old Dr. Phil limerick or something, but like I remember hearing on some talk show, why do you want your partner to be a loser? And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, because it's great to be like, I'm the winner. But
Right.
to think, oh my God, I just made my husband a loser is kind of a shitty thing to try to do. And so
Hmm.
if you're berating someone and putting them down so that they lose on purpose. You're making the person you choose to be. You want to be with a loser? That's what you want?
Right.
Like you're making him into a loser or her into a loser. That's just the weirdest way to navigate something. Like you wouldn't do that in a business discussion over
Right.
negotiation terms, right? In a contract. You wouldn't do that with a friend. Like, why
Hmm.
is it when we live in the same home sometimes as someone where we want to make someone a loser? Like, that's just a weird thing to do. And I think it's really easy as like a card to play with sex workers to use
Right.
it against them because you wouldn't be like, oh, you're a teacher. Well, go to school. Go teach
Teach
those
them
damn
more.
kids. Right? It's like, what does that even mean? Right? I'm trying to think like, what other job would you have? You're a politician. Go get some votes. Like what are you saying to someone? It's entirely a different thing when you're like, yeah, go to work then. Go fuck more
Yeah.
guys. Go dance
Yeah.
on that pole. You're just a stripper. You're
Yeah.
just a blah blah blah.
These things, like, you cannot take that shit back. I'm sorry. And maybe every woman's different, but I feel like hearing you say that, you cannot reverse from there. There's no
Hmm.
moving forward. And I think the alter ego, or like the work name, I should say, is often thrown in as a part of that. They know
Oh,
me as me, right? For them to say, go to work, Riley, if that is part of the conversation, if that's the way the conversation goes, it's over. There's no turning around.
and that's just it. And so, in that heat of a moment, is he trying to finalize the ending of his relationship or is he trying to just win an argument? And
Mhm.
instead, you've literally clobbered the entire relationship because I 100% agree. There's no fucking going back from that. All respect is out the window at that point.
Mhm.
Now, I get why it can become a bit of a tendency, or if trying to give him a bit of a grain of salt here, if he's like, oh, but I didn't mean it that way, or oh, but something, I get that there's almost an easy opportunity to take financial advantage of dating a sex worker,
Mhm.
because whether she's the breadwinner at home or not, in a tough time or a strenuous financial time or a time where you've added a new goal or you want to upgrade the vacation you're going to take or something that's going to cost this much money, a sex worker knows, well, I can add two more shifts and I can accomplish that. Or that takes an
Yeah.
extra month of, filming, or I need to make a bit more OnlyFans content or whatever it is she does. We have an ability to make that decision. We can
Yeah.
add on an extra shift. We can decide to see three extra clients or book an extra day at the hotel, at the condo, at the collective, whatever you're doing. And yes, that is flexible, and that is I guess what you would call a luxury of sex
Mhm.
work, right? Is that we have that fluidity and can choose our work hours and frequency as we see fit. But again, it's it's still bad because why is she the only one that has to come up with the financial compensation for whatever the problem is? Or
Mhm.
is she the only one to solve it? Is she the only one that's going to upgrade to a two-bedroom suite on your vacation instead of,
Yeah.
a little thing that faces a garden? You want the ocean view, you want the sandals experience, whatever. I get it. But now why is it only her hooking money? Like, why is it only that? And are
Right.
we as a couple now reliant on that? Or is every decision that we make financially, the answer going to be, well, go to work? Because look how
Mhm.
quickly that just changed from, oh, honey, wouldn't it be nice to upgrade our honeymoon suite to go to work? We can then upgrade the bathroom or,
Mhm.
finish off the whatever, send the kids to football. Like, why is that now her responsibility exclusively? And why is he so easy breezy about it? Because the tone is very much, I hate your job, but yet you're being easy breezy about the money. And
Mhm.
so why are we using this then as a weapon? Because you loved it when it was about the money. You loved it when we had the butler suite at Sandals, didn't you, honey? And yet, as soon as we're in a binder, I may want to buy something that you don't agree with that was not in the budget right now. And I say out loud, but that's okay. I'll grab 2 extra ships at the club and then
Right.
I can, sign that lease for that new car, or I can afford the spa day with the girlfriends, or I can, take the responsibility of being matron of honor, or like whatever the thing is, right? And is he now going to be resentful and salty because
Mhm.
maybe he's in a 9 to 5 with a salaried paycheck and doesn't have the option to pick
Mhm.
up an extra shift to do that thing he likes, or to get that gear, or add that sport, or whatever guy thing he wants to do? And this is where the weaponization comes in, because now we're throwing little daggers about money back and forth at each other. And I'm going to end up just as resentful and salty too, because A, you're using me for money. B, you're calling me by my work name. You're being
Mhm.
flippant about the respect and the boundaries that I long established when we first started dating. But now you like me fucking other people when it means you get to have a little bit of joyride or a little bit of
Yes,
fun, or it
indeed.
upgrades your fancy car. Like,
Yeah.
what in the actual fuck are we talking about here? Because you're not acknowledging it as a career or as a job anymore. You're using this as if it's a personal thing that I like to do, or I choose to do, or want to do, instead of, what if she's in survival sex work? How dare you go fucking say, go fuck 3 extra guys today then, and then we can afford
Right.
it. Like, what? What? It's the audacity for me.
I mean, there is a lot of successful relationships in the adult industry, so I don't want to say
Very
none
much.
of them are going to work. But I mean, okay, our staff tend to be of a certain age demographic. And honestly, if they'd listen to me, if I could give them advice, I tell them all, don't be in a relationship. Do not be in a
100%.
relationship during this period of your life. Now, if your career is sex work, that's going to look a bit differently. You're going to have to navigate having relationships. But for our staff, that's where we see this like magnified, because we're watching 40 girls on repeat, cycling through, keep going through this, that I
Over and
to
over.
wonder, even though the most supportive boyfriends, no, he knows what I do, he's okay with it. They're all okay until you break up with them. And then once you break
Right.
up with them, it's the threats I'm going to tell your family. It's the threats I'm going to tell your square job or your civilian job. Like those threats come. And I mean, in a breakup, oftentimes immature people have an intent to hurt. And
Yeah.
sex work is a card that someone like that is going to play. Let's be real. That's why I just wish if I could whisper into all of their ears, I'd be like, just work, no boyfriends.
Right.
But
Right.
Okay, of all the magic tricks I've seen, that's the one I want to know how to do.
So mentalism magic is being able to know what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a trick with 2 little red balls. Hold out your hand, and I'm just going to get you to squeeze them both. And I want you to imagine you can only eat one food for the rest of your life. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, again and again and again. I want you to think about what that one thing would be that you just eat constantly and forever.
I would hate that.
Do you have it?
Yep.
Would you be impressed if you opened up your hand and it turned into the shape of that exact thing?
Yeah, obviously.
All right, let's do it. 3, 2, 1, open up.
That wasn't a reaction. That was actually not a reaction.
Biggest, why would you think about that?
That says steak.
I think he was thinking of meat is what the problem was.
I was thinking about pickles.
Of course you would.
You had ice cream.
Oh, I could do that.
Tak se řekne anglicky milujte. Bitch, suck my dick.
I would so fuck with people like that.
Fucked a dude up in that building. 3 dudes coming. On me, on me. Give me them cheeks, boy. I'm on top. Now I'm on bottom. He's inside. 2 more guys coming in. Oh my god, now they're rotating. I'm coming, I'm coming.
You're craving something a little extra, aren't you? Subscribe to our Patreon and enjoy the ride.
Go back to season 1, Boyfriends in Water. Fabulous episode, but it's the 2 most annoying things to us because it ruins everything. She could have all these financial goals. And listen, we've seen it happen in our personal lives and professional lives where the tendency is the man gets quite lazy in terms of his professional contributions as well. It can be very jealousy provoking that not only does she make great money, but the flexibility of schedule can be really salty too, because if he has to get up every day at 5:30 in the morning, because he has to go to the construction site or to the office on set locked in hours, and he can't just take a Tuesday off because he doesn't want to work or whatever the reason, even if he's sick or whatever. Again, we have autonomy, we have complete fluidity. And this is why a lot of people choose sex work is because what if their health or their personal life obligations, their family obligations don't allow them to commit to 9 to 5 hours? You get the flexibility of sex work. And that can be, I'm sure, every Monday morning when it's freezing cold in the dead of January and he's up before the sun and she's all in her bed and gets to la-di-da into the strip club tonight, like he could be very bitter. But he can also become financially reliant on that fluidity and flexibility. And it can make him justify things like, well, maybe I can take a couple extra sick days because she can pick up an extra shift and that covers what I missed. And that ball becomes a snowball so fast. We've seen it. So many of our girls start off, oh, who's the new boyfriend? Oh, he's great. He does this for a living and he does that and he helps me with this and he helps me with that. And 6 months later, she's like, he just is on my couch playing video games every fucking day. He lost his job. He this, he that, and the other thing. And now she is an adult child / roommate that she funds. And he has the audacity still in an argument or by the breakup to be like, yeah, well, go to work, or excuse me, Emily, just go to the club. Like it becomes even ruder the worse the circumstances get. Like it literally becomes that bad. And so that's why I said kind of at the beginning is that's not someone tells you on date 3. That's something that comes out post cohabitation, like post commitments, post marriage. It happens to all kinds of people. They'll throw it in a custody battle and been like, she shouldn't get full-time custody because she's just a this, that, and the other. And let's be real, right? The law, society, and all this stigma affects sex workers, as we say in every freaking episode, on so many levels. And so what are the chances that your judge is going to be one who moonlit as a dancer to get themselves through law school? Probably not, right? Well, maybe, but probably not. And so you're going to get the shun of judgment and stigma placed upon you that now you're not a fit mom because XYZ. Meanwhile, you've been dancing the whole fucking time. He knew about it before y'all started dating and making babies, and he was fucking fine with it. And now all of a sudden that we're splitting and you didn't get what you want, buddy. Now all of a sudden it's a problem I'm a stripper, and now it's a thing you're going to use so the judge takes my kids away, or so I don't get as much child support, or whatever the imbalance becomes. It can just get so nasty. And obviously not someone you should be with. But if it's someone you're tied to for the next 18 and a half years, that's a tough navigation, because that same person is the person that threw those stones at you at times of uncertainty in what was supposed to be a committed and loving relationship. It's so disappointing, and it's so it's disappointing for her. It's disappointing as us for their bosses and the kind of mentors to hear it. It's definitely heart-wrenching as older women who know better. It's even heart-wrenching when friends that are our fucking age are still caught up in it. Like it's just a thing. And I think why it's still a thing, even at a big old age, is because it comes out so much later. in the relationship or in the crumbling and the demise of a relationship. It's not during the happy time. It could not be for 10 fucking years and none the wiser. And all of a sudden you're like, who is this person I'm married to? Because you've never been like that before. What if he was a dancer once too? Because listen, there's man strippers too. What if y'all used to make OnlyFans content together and then you kept with it because you like it? He decided it wasn't for him, or he got a promotion at his job and it's too risky now. And then has the audacity 6 years later to throw that at you as a card. Like it just, no matter how you pick it, it's just gross behavior. But it is a real reality for sex workers. This woman's based out of the States. So this is a global thing. This isn't just a rub and tug thing or a stripper thing. This is everywhere.
Yeah. And I think being a card that does get played, even if your sex work is in history, like it will still be brought up and you'd be like, but that was 2 decades ago. Yet it's still something that could be thrown at you, which I just find hysterical. I mean, I would laugh that away really quickly, but that depends on the person. And maybe sex workers are meant to be in relationships with other sex workers. I don't know. Maybe that is the better fit.
Listen, a lot of sex workers aren't straight either.
True.
And you wouldn't know that about their personal lives. And it's because of a lot of their experiences that they've made those decisions. I think there's different kinds of decisions when it comes to your sexuality. There's what nature gave you and what you're inclined to. And then there's experience, right? Nurture versus nature. And you learn some things, just like we learn to be choosy, or we learn what our type is. What if we learned that through our experience, we just don't trust men altogether and it's safer to be a lesbian? Like there's a lot of reasons, right? But because of those things, you're right. Maybe it's one of those other little pieces. Maybe the solve for one woman is I'm only going to date women. And maybe the solve for another woman is I'm only dating sex workers because they're the only people that will understand. I would never think to throwing a job at someone as a card to play is just so weird. I'm still racking my brain trying to think of a job where that would even be a thing. Like, even if you're a recovering alcoholic and your partner's a bartender, saying go to the bar isn't an insult to her. It would be go somewhere where I can't go. Right. Sense. Like, and what circumstance? Okay, doctor, go save some fucking lives. Like, what, in what world is that a card? And the only reason is now your partner, your intimate partner, believes the stigma that risks your life every day in your work. That is so messed up to digest. There are lots of jobs where people risk their lives. Ask a cop, ask an oil rigger, ask the guys that scoop scallops from the bottom of the ocean. Like, there's some crazy ass jobs out there. But whose wife is like, yeah, you want to be in the army? Go risk death. Like, as a thing to hurt the person. Nobody. It's literally exclusive to sex work, at least as far as my brain can fathom it to be. Because that stigma just haunts us all the time. And even in your own bedroom, even in your own home, in your own relationship, in your own love circle, you can listen, it can happen with friends and family too, right? It can be even invaded upon about this tight little circle of trust. And that just gets shattered for you. And the people that you've trusted the most are now secretly believing the stigma. Like, it's very horrible. And I think it would make breakups harder. Because on top of that, you're not just risking maybe your safety and things like that, which happen with lots of women when they split from an intimate partner, but you're risking your job and your career, potentially the custody and ability to raise your own kids, maybe stay in the home if you're a renter and they could tell your landlord, cost you any new employment, could plaster it all over social media, outing and doxing you, which could affect your safety to another level. Now you're not just worried about your ex-intimate partner, but all the clients that now know where you live or know your last name or can Google your fucking mother. Like, everything with sex work gets so amplified when it comes to the bad stuff. I so wish lawmakers would consider all of these little nuances, because they sure ain't little to us. And they literally affect even down to our intimate lives in the little circle of trust that most of us keep. It's just so icky and so terrible. And I wish intimate partners of any sex would stop fucking doing it, because don't bite the hand that feeds you is a real thing, right? And whether you guys split up or not, I don't see what that has to do with using weapons like that, you're trying to tear a person down to make them less functional throughout the day. That's just really evil as far as I'm concerned. And I wish there was a way to protect sex workers on a whole other than abstinence and not dating.
Mhm.
But really, that would be the solution. And yet you're totally right. Lots of sex workers work for 10 plus years. It would be
Mhm.
hard not to date for that long.
Yeah.
You want relationship experience when you're young, so you learn the rough lessons. It's that people get stuck in these lessons for like 6 years longer than they should have been. Or it's the dragged out reveal where you don't learn about it until 13 years into a relationship. It's just
Mhm.
hard to avoid.
Yeah. My last thought on it really is, I think it takes a special person to really be with a sex worker and be fully accepting and supportive. And speaking to the guys, if that's not you, I think there's something to be said for, you know what, I just can't do this. It's not
Yeah.
okay for me. I won't be able to function in this relationship, because a lot of people are very territorial or possessive within their relationships or with their partner. And I understand that. And that just needs to be a decision that's made at the time, instead of going into it and then following it with using it as a weapon and being abusive, really is what it is.
It is what it is, right? It's, some people are so there's like a fear that people have of they know that they shouldn't be in this relationship or that they're not
Mhm.
okay with something like that. And they'll drag it out and they'll prolong it or hope it'll
Yeah.
just get better. Or maybe she'll quit in 6 months, or maybe I can convince her, maybe I can rescue her. And like this takes us into so many other aspects of like the that comes with sex work. But it's just it's sad to me that people don't have like the balls, the confidence in themselves, the comfortability being single enough to say, you know what, this isn't okay with me. And I'm sorry that I said before that it was, but as I've grown to like care for you more, I'm no
Mhm.
longer okay with it. And allow her to have that conversation with you. Maybe she was looking for a reason to retire. Who knows, right? Or maybe
Mhm.
she could tell you 6 other reasons why you should be okay with it. And then you make your own personal decisions. But you have to have the balls and the confidence to get into that conversation. And so many
Yeah.
people avoid those conversations because their
Mhm.
assumption is the come out on the other side is, okay, we're done. I've lost my husband or I've lost my boyfriend or girlfriend or like whatever the finality fear is. And listen, you and I are both single babes, and I don't know about you, but I fucking love it. It's very stress
Mhm.
free in that sense, you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be afraid of an ending of a relationship if it's someone who doesn't accept all the things about me, because we already like we live a rebellious life where we're already
Mhm.
kind of pushing on every boundary possible, being
Mhm.
like, this is my comfort zone. We're not in the box. We live comfortably outside of it. And if you're
Yeah.
not comfortable out there, don't interrupt me, right?
Mhm.
And it takes confidence and balls and comfort and self-awareness to get to that point. That's something I wish for women. If I could teach them younger, is to be comfortable alone, to be comfortable for the truth and get to that point quicker, because you know what, life usually gets great afterwards.
Mhm.
It's very rare that things kind of dip after, just like a job. You want a better job and a better job each time, you either get a promotion or you
Right.
switch to a new company. You want to go up the ladder. Women date that way too. We want someone better than the last experience. And so why are we not more like that starting from like 15? Like every
Mhm.
older woman in the world would tell you the same damn lesson. Why do we not pass this on like genetically to be like, here's a survival tip for you? Learn to walk away when it's time. Have the uncomfortable conversations because it will
Mhm.
lead you to something better, either a better communication understanding in that relationship, or it will set you free so you can go on and find the next one. And that's
Mhm.
glorious. That shouldn't be something that's full of mourning and dread. That should be exciting and
Mhm.
really empowering because you've taken control of your own life and your own standards. That goes for any sex at any age, really. But even
Yeah.
more so if you decide to hop into sex work, because you can't, listen, we do uncomfortable things. You can't be
Mhm.
afraid of uncomfortable conversations in your personal life. And if that means that your man suddenly isn't your man because he's not okay with your dancing career, then that's just the way it is.
Mhm.
Why drag out the pain and be afraid to rip that band-aid? Just go
Yeah.
for it, because you'll find an awesome dude who's like, I love the club, or that's fucking amazing, honey. I think you're a superstar and you're so beautiful and glamorous and fantastical, but to keep your money, I'll pay for things. Like there's men out there that are actually supportive and real about it and will be okay with it. Or You date a bunch, you figure out your own taste, and that takes a couple years. And by then you've accomplished your goals. You're deciding to retire from the club anyway.
Mhm.
Like, it is what it is. Let it be great. Why drag yourself through this like purgatory phase of like avoiding the obvious? You know how much I
Right.
hate avoiding elephants in the room.
Mhm.
It's a generational trauma that I rebuke with every fiber of my being. And people do it all the time, and they're fucking okay with it. And it makes me so uncomfortable because I'm like, why are we okay with this? Just have the convo. And guys,
Yeah.
if you wanted to date her, you're obsessed with her, you love her, and all the things, but you're trying to push her out of a job that she's doing, whether she loves it or not, she's doing for her own reasons and by her own choice.
Mhm.
Leave her be. It's not the relationship for you. It's not the person for you. And let her find her own path, her own way. That's my take. I love it. I love showing insight on the little aspects of sex work that people never think about when you're just a
Yeah.
civilian. And why would you, right?
Mhm.
Because
True.
it's not your life. It's really intimately ours. But as we see, and the 64 replies, it's everywhere. It's everybody. And it's happened to almost all of us. So
Mhm.
take that what you will. Ladies, listen in. We're like Dear Cosmo. I love it. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. Join us every Monday on YouTube, every Wednesday on Patreon, and Sunday nights on Patreon for some spicy humor. And who knows, we've been dabbling with some ideas for some new
Mhm.
and mix it up kind of surprises on Sundays too. So you never know what's coming with Muse on the Mic. I love it. We'll see you next time, guys.
Bye, guys.